can't achieve peak attraction without the Bible. And this is because Jordan Peterson said peak attraction is productive generosity. So it's a combination of your capacity and then also your provision, your character and your willingness to provide, to protect, to love, etc. And by the way, the reason people don't think that these nice traits, such as protection and wanting to protect, such as loving and wanting to love, the reason people don't think that these are nice in the modern day is because generally the people that are putting them on display are physically incapable, are mentally and physically weak, low testosterone, effeminate, etc. And so they have to put these traits on display in order to attract. And so what's happened is those traits have been associated with the weak guys, the guys that don't attract women. And so what's happened is, as a consequence, guys have gone, okay, that doesn't work. I need to be a fucking dickhead. I need to not love her. I need to air her for a day so that she gets stressed out about where I am, so she thinks I'm mysterious. I need to... Don't tell her I love her. Don't tell her she's pretty, because then... Don't tell her she's beautiful, because then she's going to think she's got me, and then she's not going to keep on chasing me. So, like, all of this bad shit has arisen as a consequence because people have seen the nice guys and they've gone, okay, I need to do the opposite of that in order to attract. And this is what has happened in the modern day. So now we have two ends of the spectrum. We have these capable, masculine, successful guys that are dickheads and treat women in the way of which we just explained, because they think that's what's attractive, when they don't realize it's actually their riches, it's their status, it's their ambition, it's their strength that attracted them, not the airing them for a day, not protecting them, and not telling them that they love them or they're beautiful. That's not what attracted them. But because they've now got the woman and they're doing those actions are now reinforced tenfold that, okay, fuck, they work. So that's one end of the spectrum. And then the other end of the spectrum is the guys that are just completely weak and fucking incapable. So they're overly nice and left-wing, feminist, etc. So you've got two ends of the spectrum. But in the middle is productive generosity. It's the capacity of these guys on the right. It's the capacity and the capabilities of the masculine warriors, the high status, rich, successful guys. It's their capacity that is simultaneously the willingness and desire to protect, the willingness and the desire to provide. And I'm not going to say that this is what the guys on the left have or the feminists have, because they don't have that desire. And if they say they do, they most likely just put it on display up front, because when you have unoptimized hormones, which is a consequence of not being in a masculine environment primarily, which the feminists, the lefties are going to have, the men on the left, the men that are feminists, they're going to have non-masculine environments, which is going to lead to their hormones not being masculine during the years of growth, during their present moment, which is going to result in them not having these desires, because the desire to protect, the willingness to protect, the desire to provide, the willingness to provide, these are all things that are produced by healthy hormone levels. So this is why you'll have, a dad in the modern day that would rather play his PlayStation for 5 hours rather than play with his child or love his woman. That's why. Obviously that would be with his spare time after work. So hormones determine quite a lot. Obviously, we're not going to go too deep into that. And you shouldn't hate on that, because unfortunately that's just a consequence of society, people's environments, and poor leadership, right? This is why the Bible says we forgive everyone. Because ultimately everything is just a consequence of a lack of leadership and a lack of guidance, if you think about it. Now, that doesn't mean that we chuck responsibility away, because if we just go, oh, I was misled, so I can be a weak man that has no ambition, that can't provide and protect and love his family properly, because I was misled, then that's just ineffective. We have to apply the most effective mind frames and philosophies possible. And the most effective one is that everything is your responsibility. So everything's your responsibility, even though it's not. That's the mind frame you have to take. But yeah, so back to the productive generosity thing. So how do we achieve this? Well, there's only one way we achieve it, right? And it's through the Bible. Because the Bible teaches us how to love. You know, it teaches sacrificial love, it teaches forgiveness, it teaches to consideration. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about love your wife and like have consideration for the fact that she is the weaker vessel. And obviously it emphasizes the sacrificial love that a husband is supposed to practice towards his wife, the protection he is supposed to practice towards his wife. Now, simultaneously, you can't do any of those things if you don't have the capacities of these red pill, right-wing, masculine men. You don't have the capacity to do those things if you don't I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, you don't have the capacity to do these things unless you're masculine and you're strong and you're capable. And so Jordan Peterson is basically saying that women want the high testosterone, strong, masculine warrior, fearless, courageous man, but simultaneously they don't want him to be this childish, immature dickhead that decides to ignore his woman for 2 days because he thinks it makes him mysterious, or fuck a load of women to achieve a high body count because he wants to flex a number. They don't want this immature, childish side of things to come with the package of the masculine strength, courage and fearlessness. And so Jordan Peterson is saying that you want to combine that gentle, loving, kind, protective character with the masculine, strong, courageous, fearless warrior. And the Bible combines both of them. I mean, if you seriously think about it, when the Bible says that you are to protect, that message in and of itself is asking for you to become as capable as you can possibly be. Because in order to protect the people you love, or just in general, right, we're supposed to serve the weak. In order to serve and protect the weak, you need to be able to overcome anything that can come up against the weak, that can come up against the people that you love. And that could be any evil power that you can comprehend across the planet. And so the Bible is calling you to be capable of protecting them from that, spiritually, mentally, physically. So just the phrase, protect the people you love, serve the weak. Those phrases alone are asking you to become the masculine warrior, the strong, courageous, fearless warrior. This is also quite interesting. I was just watching a documentary on the Mexican cartel, and the women were getting ready to go out and try and basically seduce a man in order to find a partner. and to get a house, to get a car, etc. Because it's a much more dangerous area. The dating dynamics change significantly. So they're going out to seduce a man in order to basically exchange them birthing him kids for a house and a car. And the interviewer asked the woman a question, and he said, if he is capable of torturing you, but he's a good man, would you still marry him? Would you still be with him? And she said yes. She thought about it, but she said yes. Now, obviously, if he was a bad man, she would have said no. But he was a good man that was capable of torturing her, but he was a good man, as she said. And that's why she said yes. And even in the Mexican cartel, for example, she was explaining that you don't want to go for the guys that are too high up because they're going to end up killing you. You don't want to go for the guys that are too low because they're just too incapable of providing for you. You want to go for the guys in the middle because they're not going to end up killing you, but simultaneously they can provide for you. So you can see how she's trying to reach for that combination of he's strong, he's capable, he can protect me, but simultaneously she wants that gentle, kind, loving, protective man that's gonna be willing to keep her safe. And Jordan Peterson labels this as productive generosity. And the best way to achieve that is through the Bible.